Good afternoon again. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Daniel Bennett, and I am the Director of Business Development with Digital Voice Systems. And with me today is Caroline Kentalon. She's a Senior Sales Manager with Philips. Caroline, say hi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. Excited to show you this new application.
Thanks, Caroline. And I say good afternoon. I could also say good morning for those folks on the East Coast, or on the West Coast, rather. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be speaking today about SpeechLive. It's a cloud-based speech workflow solution from Philips. Just a quick housekeeping item. If you do have any questions, please enter them into the window pane in the chat section. And we'll also be recording this presentation, which will be sent out afterwards. So, why Digital Voice Systems? We started off way back in 1967, serving the legal and medical communities with their dictation needs. We've progressed over time and continue to pursue the latest technology, providing efficient workflow for our users. Our team of certified personnel are equipped to recommend various technologies based on end users' needs. However, we don't stop there. We set up the workflow, provide training, and also ongoing support to ensure success of the software. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Caroline. She has just a few slides, and then we'll jump into the demo portion of today's webinar.
Thanks so much, Dan. So we've talked about why Digital Voice Systems, but also why Philips Dictation. So Philips has been around for 70 years, our division anyway, focusing on speech to text and dictation workflow. Started way back with, the mini cassettes, and we've migrated technology forward to, cloud solutions and all of our devices. I personally have been with Philips for, I'm going to say 27 years, so ages me a little, but what are you going to do? The nice thing about Philips is we are not just a software provider. We deliver everything from, I like to say, soup to nuts. So we deliver software when it comes to cloud platforms, server-based solutions, and also individual, locally installed software. As well, we provide all the hardware. So a myriad of microphones, recorders, foot controls, any device that you would need as part and parcel of your workflow solution. We have over 1,000 distribution partners worldwide, so we do not sell direct. We sell through distributors such as Digital Voice Systems, and I personally have worked with Dan Bennett and his team for quite a number of years. So just going a little forward here, so why DVS, why Philips, and of course, why cloud? So cloud is a buzzword, as you know. Everybody's talking about cloud. What I hear from a lot of our customers are a few key things. One is cloud, of course. One is mobility, hybrid working, speech to text. So kind of a myriad of go forward solutions that are really looking at offering flexibility. So just general benefits of using cloud. So lower capital expenses. So you're not putting out a big bunch of money up front to purchase, software or applications. Most cloud solutions are offered as a subscription basis. This means you have lower operating costs because you have less infrastructure and management requirements. So if you're using an application now that requires on-premise servers and those have to be managed and maintained, you have a lot of further operating costs rather than going cloud. Of course, if it's cloud, anywhere, anytime. And I'll get into a little further as to where is our solution hosted and obviously the benefits of that. Cloud storage has high security standards. Basically ours is hosted on Microsoft Azure, so we have all the security standards of Microsoft Azure in the US. Less local data storage, so frees up a lot of space on your servers. And data stored on the cloud obviously is immune from PC crashes or network issues, so you can always continue to work. And why dictation in the cloud? So, cloud is one thing, but why dictation in the cloud? First of all, there's no software. So it means one platform that everybody can access. We support the latest OS. So, you don't have to worry about, is the software that I have installed compatible with, Windows 7, going back to XP, Windows 10, Windows 11, and all of those operating systems that migrate and cause incompatibility. It's all centrally managed, so you can log in through a browser and centrally manage many of these applications. True mobility, so we have attorneys using smartphone apps, and they can actually send from anywhere and get a live status of their dictation in the app. And many cloud dictation solutions offer back-end services. So, as I said, one of the buzzwords that I hear a lot is speech recognition. Our cloud platform offers a speech recognition feature that is optional should any of your users decide to leverage this technology. We also offer warm bodies that type, so transcription services. If you ever needed to offload some dictations in, heavy traffic times or where you've got some people out. So really enables you to be flexible. Solutions are easily scalable. When you're talking about subscriptions, you buy a number of subscriptions. Usually you can remove users, reassign subscriptions. You can do that at any time. And it's really excellent for any size organization. So whether you've got 5 attorneys or 500 attorneys, it really is a great platform without all of the management infrastructure. So basically, what is SpeechLive? So SpeechLive is a web dictation and transcription solution. It is all cloud-based. As I mentioned before, hassle-free, no installation needed, no individual license keys to track. Everything is very simple to install and manage. In fact, we can get an organization up and running within, a couple of hours. So very simple. Businesses of any size. Again, it's not meant for only small firms or only large firms. It doesn't matter on the size of your firm. It allows device and location independent mobile working. So whether I'm using a smartphone app, whether I'm logging into Transcribe through a browser, whether I'm leveraging speech to text, it doesn't matter where I'm located. I can access all of that from anywhere. And of course, there's a mobile app included with the SpeechLive platform for ease of use and true flexibility. We support not only Philips devices, but if you happen to have Olympus devices, we also support upgrade automatically from Olympus DS7000 and DS9000. So if you're currently on an Olympus platform, you don't have to worry about, do I need to, if I have users that want to use, kick it old school and use recorders, do I have to replace all of my Olympus devices? No, you don't. You can just migrate to the cloud solution and keep your hardware infrastructure until such times as you can, migrate users to the mobile app. And of course, automatic updates. It doesn't matter, when you log in, you're always going to get the latest and greatest. So just a few, I'll give you a little backward and forward look at the roadmap. So recently we added something called flexible assignment to our platform, which means you can create teams of typists and you can assign those to particular attorneys. So it gives them the option to choose either to send it to a default team or a particular transcriptionist, or they can send it to the overflow or after hours pool, let's say. We're continually talking to our customers and this product is continually evolving, but basically anytime you log in as a subscriber, you get access to all of the automatic updates. The next one coming down the pipe, which is kind of a biggie, is integration with Microsoft Single Sign-On, which really means you have all the securities and everything that's built into your Microsoft Azure sign-on. So SpeechLive supports your way of working. So, we've got the dictation and speech recognition in the browser. And the nice thing about this is it doesn't matter whether you are working from a Mac or a PC. So, if you're working hybrid and you have somebody at home that's working on a Mac, no worries, they can access because it's all browser based. So you don't have to worry about, local software that's not compatible with a Mac environment. We have the mobile app for the attorneys, as I mentioned. And then we also have a nice little desktop application that a user can use for 2 purposes. One is to upload from a recorder, and 2 is to leverage the speech recognition capability. So SpeechLive in the browser. As you can see, and we'll get into this in the demo, you have a nice little user interface. It's really traditional dictation and transcription workflow. So this would replace any other software that you have that you launch locally that gives you a list of all dictations. You can record directly in the web browser. You can upload recordings from an Olympus or Philips digital recorder through the browser. Your transcriptionist can either type from an audio file, or they become correctionists and editors of speech-to-text recognized dictations. So they would get a first draft of recognized text, they hear the original audio, yep, that's what Dan said. Then, of course, you know, there's a lot of pertaining to any particular work type or document type. There may be some formatting and such that needs to be done. So we kind of say, you know, you can have the first draft done by the attorney, and then the assistant would, what I call, make it pretty and finish the document. It offers professional editing functions, and I'll get into that when I demonstrate. And we also have multi-factor authentication. So multi-factor authentication was a stepping stone to single sign-on. And at this time, multi-factor is available, which means if you enable it, so it is enabled or disabled for the account, depending on what you want to do. But if you have multi-factor authentication enabled, this means that when a user logs in, they're prompted to enter a 6-digit code, which is emailed. We also have the ability, we're just looking into it, how long it'll take. We can also use the Microsoft Authenticator app, which is another option. Depending on, you know, whether users would prefer to use Microsoft Authentication or single sign-on, will kind of determine which will come first. SpeechLive on your smartphone. So you can see that I actually have two different interfaces here on my smartphone. One is, you know, you can create just an audio file, and the other is you can use speech to text to watch the text come up before you send it for editing and correcting to the assistant. So offers dictation and speech recognition. It syncs with the web app. So you can actually start a dictation or an audio file on your phone, and you can launch it and finish it within the browser. So it is truly synced. Professional editing functions, so insert, overwrite, append, everything that users are used to with a traditional recorder. Seamless integration and transition between platforms. Regular feature updates. Again, this is one of our flagship products, so we have a very robust product roadmap. I mentioned multi-factor authentication, which also carries over into the mobile app, but they only authenticate once, and then once they've authenticated once, then it will stay logged in and they can just launch it. Available for iOS and for Android. And also something I'll mention here, which is really not so much of a big feature for legal, but it also supports photo and video attachments, which is great for something like insurance adjusters or law enforcement. We also have the little desktop application that I mentioned, and I will show you this. And it allows you to dictate into any application on your desktop where you would normally type. So we use right now the Google engine for speech to text. We will most likely be migrating to the Microsoft engine. It is a speaker independent engine. So unlike Dragon, you don't create a specific profile per user. It is kind of a what we call speaker independent. It also includes the upload for recorders. So this is the app that would could even sit in your system tray. And whenever you connect a recorder, it would automatically upload to the authors folder within the cloud. It's compatible with all microphones, plug and play on any PC. It also works in a virtual environment. And we also have automatic software updates for this application as well. So from here, we will get to a little demo time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the mobile app, because this is kind of where everything starts. And most of our users, if we're really talking about cloud, they kind of like to have a mobile app for the true mobility cloud experience. So I'm just connecting my phone so I can mirror it for you here. Okay, so I'm going to put the slideshow on pause for a minute. And here is my smartphone, my smartphone app. And you can see that I've got the little SpeechLive application directly on my smartphone. And I can launch my app. And you'll see that it's a fairly easy, intuitive user interface. There's not a million things to configure and a million options in here. So it's just syncing up with the cloud. I have a couple of quick settings. So I can enable speech to text or disable speech to text. I can also pick a preferred typist or team to send to. I like to ask because I like the option to choose who I want to send it to each time. And so basically, you'll see that I have a draft folder. I have a sent view. I have a finished view, and I have an archive. So as an author, I can see live exactly what's happening with my dictations. So I can start a new dictation, and I have two different ways to do a dictation. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a quick audio. Good afternoon, comma new paragraph. I have attached the latest agreement, period. All changes have been incorporated as per our last discussion, period, new paragraph. Please let me know if there are any further changes required. Otherwise, comma, please send to the client, period, new paragraph, regards, comma, new line, Caroline. So there's my dictation. I can rewind incrementally. I can also pull this little bouncing ball around. I can change the title. And I also have this little area down here where I can change any metadata. So for instance, I can add a due date. I can change the priority from standard to high or to critical. I can add a work type, so I can use one that I've already used, or I can type in another one. In this case, I'll just pick memo. And I also have a comment field down here in the bottom, which is a free form field. So I can put anything I want to put in there. I can put a matter number, or I could say something like, I need it by 2 o'clock, or send a copy to Dan. In this case, I'm going to pick from a matter number that I've already dictated on. Okay, I have in here my insert, overwrite, and append. So if I were to pull my dictation here, hit play. Okay, I stop wherever I want to stop, and then I can say, what do I want to do here? Do I want to insert something? Do I want to override everything that comes next? Or do I want to just jump to the end and continue to record? Once I'm done, I hit my check mark. I have the option to delete this recording. I have the option to save it as a draft. I can send the audio to speech to text, so I can send it to the speech to text engine on the back end. Or I can send it to my transcriptionist and they are going to listen to it and type it up. So I'm going to send it to my transcriptionist, and then I get prompted because as you recall, I said, always ask me. So I can send it to the after hours pool, the overflow pool, any team that's assigned to me. I'm going to send it to my default team. So my dictation will go. You'll see now that it is in the sent folder. I can see that it's 18 seconds long. It went to my default team, and it was a high priority. I sent it at 12:23. Okay, I'm going to do one more dictation, and I'm going to show you how the front end speech to text works. So in this case, I'm going to say I want to do a speech to text. And of course, I can, change the title, the metadata, all those kinds of things. Since I'm doing speech to text, I want to pick my language, so I'm picking English US. And if I'm not sure about a particular command, I can actually take a quick look and see if I'm not sure what the command is for anything in particular. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit my record, and you will actually see the text come up. Hi, Dan, common new paragraph. Thank you so much for setting up this demo period. I hope that we will be successful in helping your customers to see how they can realize more efficiency, mobility, and flexibility with this solution, period, new paragraph. Talk soon, common new line, Caroline. So I hit pause. Now, if I wanted to, I can put my cursor anywhere in here and edit the text. Or I can just say, you know what? I want to copy and paste it into another application on my phone. So if I had, say it was a time and billing entry, or I have my case management, I want to copy and paste it into anywhere on my phone, I can do that. In this case, I'm just going to take a quick look. I think it's pretty much 100%, but I want my assistant to finish the document and save it where it needs to be saved. So I'm just going to hit the check mark and I'm going to say finish. Okay, I want to send it to my default team, and my default team will then get an email that says Caroline has sent a new dictation. So I'm going to move my app for a second, and I want to launch and show you the user interface for transcription. So here is my user interface. I'm just going to do a quick refresh, and you can see here's the 2 dictations that I have done on the 23rd. No, sorry, what date is it today? The 8th. There we go. So here's my dictations from the 8th. You'll see that this one shows as correction pending, and one shows as transcription pending. So the one that I sent that was just an audio file shows as transcription pending. The one that I sent that already had text attached, okay, shows as correction pending. So basically all I'm going to do is I can sort by date created. Okay, so I can get my 2 latest ones at the top. If this is important, I can reorganize my fields. So I want the date added to be one of the first fields that I see. I can see my comment field. If you recall the first one that I did, I added a case number or a matter number. I chose the work type of memo, and I had renamed it to Demo 1234. This user interface is pretty simple, a lot like Outlook, right? I have my files in the middle, my folders down the side. I have the ability to apply some filters. So if I only want to see jobs that are pending, I only want to see jobs suspended, or I only want to see jobs that are finished. Okay, I also have something if I have office manager rights assigned to me. So if you had somebody that wanted to sort of supervise everything, I can actually see all dictations, and I can actually take a dictation and I can reassign it to someone else. Okay, so I can reassign from the default team to the after hours team or to Jackie or whatever I want to do. So I'm going to go back into my pending. So the transcription pending, all I need to do is double click. I get my little media player. I use my foot control, and I can actually just play back. Okay, I can rewind and fast forward. I have the option to close the dictation. So if I decided I wasn't going to work on it right now and I wanted to put it back so somebody else on the team could do it, I can suspend it if I'm going for lunch and want to come back where I left off. Or maybe I want to suspend it and I have a question for the attorney because something didn't make sense. Or I can, of course, finish it. If I click finish, I have the option to attach the finished file in the browser. So the attorney would be able to see it on their phone and or if they logged into the browser. But I would assume in most cases that the assistant will save it into the document management system. So you'll see that it changes from transcription pending to transcription finished, and it will eventually move to the archive based on the settings for the archive. Here's the other dictation I did that shows correction pending. You'll see that it has an attachment. I click on the job and I can then download the transcript. You'll see that it's a Word doc. And I can basically open up that Word doc. I would play using my foot control, play back the original audio, and then I can make any changes I need to make, and then copy and paste that into the proper template, whether it's, time and billing, it's a docket, it's a whatever work type it is. So 2 ways to actually do a dictation. I can either transcribe it, or I can just edit and correct finished text. Okay. I also would like to, while we're in here, is show a little bit about the workflow and how you can manage a SpeechLive account. So I'm just going to go into the workflow, and you'll see that I will have a list of users. I can see whether they are authors or typists, and whether or not they have Office Manager rights. So if you recall, Office Manager rights gave them the ability to say all work and reassign it, but it also gives them the ability to manage user relationships and to move around subscriptions between users. So I'm just going to go into the workflow relationships. So you will have your authors on the left and your typists on the right. Caroline Cantillon is an author, and each author will have a default team. So that default team could be made up of 1 typist, 2 typists, 5 typists. And I also have the ability to create other teams here. So you can see that I've created a litigation team. And if I wanted to, I would just add which typists are part of that litigation team. I have an overflow team that consists of Jackie in this case. Jackie is set up as a team on her own, so that somebody can pick her as well. So if I go to assign typists and teams, once I've assigned the default team, I can also decide for this author. So if I pick Ross, for instance, Ross has a default team, but I've also assigned the after hours team and the overflow team to Ross so that he can choose either of those teams as well. And maybe I want to assign Jackie because he likes to send his confidential work to Jackie. So I would just pick and choose what is accessible to the author apart from their default team, and then I just click the save button. So very easy to assign teams and typists / admin to a particular attorney. Further in the, and I can also export this, by the way. So if you're a fairly large firm and you want to get a good bird's eye view of what work is going where, you can export that user relationships. So we've looked at relationships. We also have the ability to run a dictation history. So a dictation history you run by month, and it will allow you to see any dictations for that month. So I'll do a quick one here for August for this account. And this is my personal demo account, which I use fairly often. So there will be some data in there for August, but it allows me to get a quick view of who's dictating, who's transcribing, when are they transcribing, did anybody use speech to text? And here's my report. Okay, as you can see, it gives me the name of the file, the username, the uploaded date and time when it was transcribed and by whom, the length of the job, and whether or not it went through the speech to text. So those little reports are available if you are an office manager or an administrator of the account. I also have the ability to set up my archive settings, and that would be for the account. So first of all, who sees archive dictations? Is it everybody or just the person who dictated or the person who transcribed? How long does a job with a status of transcription finished sit in the work list before it automatically moves to the archive? And it's between 1 to 60 days. How long does an archive job stay before it's purged? And you have up to 365 days. So that is kind of the workflow at a quick glance, as well as the user interface. The other thing that I want to show you is this nice little desktop app that I mentioned. So here is my desktop app. So let's say I wanted to do a new email. Here's my email. Let's say I'm going to send it to Dan Bennett. I go to the body. Now I can either click on the microphone and click where I want to start, or I can also control it with my plus. So I'm just going to use my plus on my keyboard to control it. Hi Dan, comma new paragraph. Thanks for setting up this webinar, period. I will follow up with you next week to see if there are any further steps, period, new paragraph, regard, comma, new line, Caroline. Okay. Caroline or chat line, whatever you want to call me. I'll answer to both. So you can see that you can dictate with this application anywhere you can put your cursor. So could be an Excel sheet, could be your browser, could be your document management, could be anywhere you can type. In here, I also have, obviously I pick my language. I choose which microphone I'm using. And I can also get my voice commands the same way. So if I'm not sure what to say, all the voice commands can be open for me to refer to. This is also where I would set up the upload. So if I wanted to use this application to upload from recorders, I would say automatically upload, delete from the device once it's uploaded. So that's this little application, desktop application here. So it's a combination of speech to text and upload from devices. So I'm not going to keep that. So that is kind of like a quick overview. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to our trusty slide deck just to finish off here. So we'll go to the next slide. So I just want to quickly talk about security, because whenever we're talking about cloud, obviously security is a big issue. So SpeechLive is sense encrypted, 256-bit encrypted, and it is all stored encrypted. Servers are in the US, they're Microsoft Azure servers in the US, so no worries about data residency. The recognition is done on servers in the US also, so nothing leaves your US for data residency. With Microsoft Azure, obviously, it's a world-leading enterprise level provider and platform for cloud-hosted solutions. They promise 99.9 uptime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And many of you may already be using these same servers to host your Office 365. It's the exact same servers, so same security. And they have a lights out policy, which means various measures are in place. So to protect from power failure, physical intrusion, network outages. So it's a very secure, robust platform. So I would like to thank everybody from my perspective for attending, and I'm just going to turn it over quickly to Dan to close us out.
Hey Caroline, this is Justin. Dan actually lost power. It's bad storm over there, so I'm going to close it out.
Okay.
I would just like to thank everyone for joining. We will be sending out a follow-up email to all the attendees with either a recording of this webinar and any other additional information. And we would like to offer a 2-week free trial on this platform. And so if you're interested in that, please reach out to us. You can email us at sales@digital-voice.com or sales@digital-voice.com. And we'd love to get you set up on a trial.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll be in touch.